Shalom, shalom. I am joined here by Ach Darrell Tucker. We are promoting the Etiquette and Modesty Social Etiquette Conference that's coming up on December 22nd. And ladies, perception matters. How you present yourself is what gets pursued. So I am the founder of the Orchids, founder and ministry leader for the Orchids Women's Ministry. We are a ministry based on biblical womanhood, modesty, submission, and fasting. We meet
Mm.
every third Sunday of every month at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today I am joined by Darrell Tucker, and he is going to speak to us about the importance of etiquette and modesty as someone who has been married and is also a father of over 21 years. So, Darrell, I'm going to turn it over to you so you can introduce yourself briefly, and then we're going to hop into a couple of questions.
Shalom, shalom. Well, first of all, shalom, shalom, my dear sister. It's a blessing that you even consider, a man's perspective, which is good. Before I dwell in it, like you said, my name is Ach Darrell Tucker, hero from Detroit, Michigan. What up, though? Y'all know that term. 57 years young, been married 21 years and some months. We're parents to three precious children. My daughter Nia is 19, Daryl Jr. 17, and Hannah is 12. So yeah, when you fire talking about perception and what we look for in a wife. So when I first, I'm just gonna kind of dwell when I met my Isha, and now in the awakened state. But at that time, I said, but I had my eyes open for a potential, spouse. So we had the concert, and then, I saw this one young lady, and I was just smitten. I'm like, wow, she's so beautiful, whatever. But just I say all the time, looks attract, but personality keeps. So you can see something from afar, don't mean it's for you. As my mom used to always say, everything glitter is not gold. So I'm like, now I'll give you a backdrop. When I was in the world, I was a womanizer. So me talking to women or people in general, I am a communicator, or I have to give the gab, very gregarious in personality. So it wasn't so much me being fearful to approach her. I wanted to approach her, as we knew then, in a righteous way.
Mhm.
So I'm like, Father, order my steps so I don't come off as, Joe Blow just trying to holler at this young lady. And so I went to her, and I honestly thought I knew her, being out working, hitting the clubs and things of that nature, just out and about on the scene. So I said, did you know her from there? She said, no. Did you go here? No. Did you go to Michigan State? No. And then it just dawned on me that I didn't know her. She looked familiar. And so we talked, and she was like, well, I'm about to leave after the council left. So she's waiting for this young lady to come by that she was mentoring. She was in a mentoring aspect with young ladies at her particular church at the time. And she said, well, no, she don't need a ride. She's going home with somebody else. I said, well, I'll escort you to the car. So I
Mhm.
escorted her to the car, and we end up talking about 2.5 hours. We the only ones left in the parking lot. She just got up. And so it was a friend. And I think at the time, so I was kind of taken aback because I'm used to women, you know, taking the meal, whatever the case may be. But she was just kind of like, no, I'm just gonna take it slow. I mean, slow is like syrup going uphill. So at that time, I really was liking her, but she looked at me as just her friend. And so during that course, this was back in '99. Yep, 1999. And over a 3-year course, we were just friends. She would call me asking me about other people, like, yeah, what do you think about this guy? And I'm saying to myself, what about me? But I never let her know that I was into her. I had to hold my hands close to the deck too as well. So um, as I know in the church, and awakening getting there too, they had church mothers, the older women would teach the
Mhm.
young. But there's a lot of kickback with that too. Well, I'm not a grandma. My daughter say that. I don't just like no grandma. I said, well, there is a middle ground. You ain't got to be one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
But once again, that's that mindset. They figure like I gotta compete with Sally Sue down the street, and or just being loud. Now I'll give you an example. Remember I told you when we went to Africa this past summer. We went to Ghana and Kenya. So we had to keep stressing to the women. When we interact with the men there, fall back, let the men talk. Because here, we give you a little lip, eye, heck, neck roll and
Mhm.
eyeballs and all that. But over there, it's very patriarchal and you get yourself in trouble. I just know that you're going to get exploited if you carry yourself in such a way. And that's just
Mhm.
the physical perspective of it. But in your mind, you want to be around. I know in the church, and awakening getting there too, they had church mothers. The older women would teach the
Mhm.
young. But there's a lot of kickback with that too. Well, I'm not a grandma. My daughter say that. I don't just like no grandma. I said, well, there is a middle ground. You ain't got to be one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
But once again, that's that mindset. They figure like I gotta compete with Sally Sue down the street or just being loud. Now I'll give you an example. Remember I told you when we went to Africa this past summer, we went to Ghana and Kenya. So we had to keep stressing to the women. When we interact with the men there, fall back, let the men talk. Because here, we give you a little lip, eye, heck, neck roll and
Mhm.
eyeballs and all that. But over there, it's very patriarchal and you get yourself in trouble. I said, when I was coming up, girls got excited when it got fall and winter time. You get to wear the sweaters and your coats. Girls not looking like they figure they got to show skin because it's like it's a competition. I got to expose myself. That's the mentality. I got to look like Cardi B. I got to look like Megan Thee Stallion. I got to look like Beyonce to find myself of worth. And so as a father, I always got to look and say, you are beautiful. You don't have to do all that. I said,
Mhm.
because you attract them, but you're going to attract them all. You're going to attract them for all the wrong reasons. And then you're going to be hurt. So
Mhm.
trust me, man can see, you know, you don't have to have everything cut in all the areas, your boobs popped off. As they say, you got the camel toe, all that where it's just everything is so provocative.
Yeah. So, one of the things you mentioned was the importance of one thing you said was when your wife or when she hears herself, it also, this is my Bluetooth, it also is representative of you. And so I
Right.
think one thing that women can keep in mind is how do you want to be portrayed? How do you want to be
Mm-hmm.
represented? And as you're presenting yourself, I mean, in this age of social media, or whether you are at a fellowship or gathering or just out and about, if you were to meet your ish that day, right? I mean, because it could happen like that. I mean, look at when Isaac's, what Abraham's servant was going to look for a wife for Isaac, and he met Rebecca at the well,
Right.
and then we certain traits that she showed and how she presented herself, and he was like, wow. Whew. So it could just be at the grocery store, right? But the
Yeah.
perception should be, or the thought pattern should be, if my husband found me today, how would I want to be presented? And am I presenting myself even when I go out and I'm not even thinking about, you know, finding or meeting that person? Am I reflective of if I was already married? Am I reflective of
The most high.
how yeah, reflective of the Most High, yeah, right? Am I
Mm-hmm.
reflective of how I could be when I left the home and my husband be pleased with it? Because this is something that you mentioned, Adele, that I've also heard even from a number of YouTube videos from women, who are in this awakening, and even women who are not. Because this conference is going to be for anyone who believes that etiquette and modesty, what modesty means. And there's a common saying, y'all knows my heart. And yes, he does. And if you say that, be very prepared that he also does know your heart. So if he knows that he's shown you a certain way of doing things, a way of eating or carrying yourself, and you're not, he knows your heart. If he has shown you a certain way of dressing that pleases him and you're not doing it, he knows your heart, right? But with all due respect, people don't see your heart at the store or at the fellowship or the feast day. People see how you present yourself. People see how
Absolutely.
you talk. Culturally too, I know in some cultures it is not considered wise for a woman to, be at the forefront or to approach the men and start talking. You'll be looked at, you know, sideways.
Mm-hmm.
I know even some years back that happened for me culturally, and I was, still kind of not having that knowledge of what like modesty and submission and order looked like. I was offended, but I realized that culturally that does matter in a lot of societies, and even biblically that was the way that things were. And one of the pillars of Orchids is to restore the Hebraic family structure
Right.
in terms of our role as women, with submission, with modesty and all of these attributes. So that's really key that you mentioned that how we present ourselves, um, how you want to see whether it's social media or when you're out and about. And then also you mentioned the example of the young man who was very humble. He was, well to do. And he approached a young lady that was not in place to receive him. another thing that's important is that women posture themselves to be able to receive what Yah has, so that you don't miss it. And Yah is merciful, but that
Mhm.
is very important that, it's always important to be concrete in your values so that you can understand when any blessing, whether it's job role, the right person, opportunity presents itself, that aligns with your values. So yeah. So
Yeah, when you said something about submission, I mean, that is the curse word of curse words. And so in
mm,
Yasharel, we definitely have to empty out the whole cup. And it's a process. So I think it's beautiful, when you come into this awakening and you realize how we are as Yasharel as a nation then and how they govern themselves and how everything was checks and balance and everything works out.
mm,
So, I mean, for men as well, we all work in progress, but and then Quran dressed, adorn yourself in righteousness, cover your speaking, you know, and conduct yourself and know how to enunciate and project your voice. And you just command that, the jewel and the prize that you are in the Most High Yah. And that light will reflect them bugs, them bad guys. It'll keep a lot of folks out the way because they not, nah, she's too much for me. She's wired different. And that's what we want to be. We want to be like the salmon. One thing about the salmon, when they go spawn, they fighting to go up. I mean, the things that fish got to go through to get up to the part where they can lay the eggs. They going against the stream, and that's how we are in society. We fighting against everything that the world stands for. And
crazy.
mhm,
All praises. But yeah, that's it's very important. One thing that you mentioned is the fact that we're royalty. And the hardest thing I've seen, the ruach of offense is rampant, the spirit of offense is rampant because
right,
we acknowledge that we're royalty. What is it, First Peter 2:9, that we're a royal priesthood, that, we are the apple of Abba's eye. But then many of us, when we look at what that means and what changes is going to mean, because royalty is a royal diet.
yep,
Royalty practices, certain etiquette. Royalty is shown in decorum and strategy and speech. Royalty is also in garment, right? So I
right,
think walking in the fullness of that royalty means getting away completely from the ways of the world. But it's just there's a barrier of resistance that I'm praying that,
yep,
our women, and our men can overcome at some point. And that's the challenge.
mhm,
But, he's got ministries like the one that he gifted me with. He called me into I wasn't looking for. He called me into it, but I praise him for it. And he's
right,
got a lot of other sisters who I'm seeing have similar walks that he's leading to speak out about what the many pillars of modesty look like. And so when we talk about etiquette and we talk about the fact that we're royalty, etiquette is
mhm,
very key because you never know where Allah might position you with. Like he called Esther for
right,
such a time as this to save her people, right?
mhm,
And you never know, what Allah may use you or position you to do and what types of things that you need to, skill sets and mannerisms, behaviors, and, things you need to do
mhm,
in those situations, right? But the highest thing is that we are ambassadors for Allah. So when you're at school, work, grocery store, there should be something identifiable about your countenance that
mhm,
shows somebody that you are a daughter of the Most High Yah, right? I
absolutely.
mean, whether it be the most like uh transparent or thing like your garment straight up, or whether it be at lunch. I noticed that this person doesn't eat the ham with us. This person
Mhm,
eats, mainly fruits and vegetables and only certain meats, right? There should be something delineable about your presentation that should want to draw someone to you. So at the core of it, the first thing we are, ladies, is daughters of the Most High Yah. And
right,
so people should see that. They should see the light that we carry. And as I always say, your lifestyle is your biggest platform for ministry. How you actually live, not what you say, not how much you bark at other people about what they're doing wrong, but how you actually live. All right. So, Daryl, you answered a lot of the questions that I had regarding what etiquette looks like in modesty. You talked about perception is what, gets pursued, presentation rather is what gets pursued, and about how, looks attract and
mhm,
personality is what keeps. And so a lot of very valuable raw filtered advice that I think like we really need to hear in terms of, even advice for, the ox in terms of what modesty look like in terms for men. Because a lot of times men don't think about what, they may be doing that might not be as presentable as modest. The
Hmm.
extra tight jeans, the gray jogging pants, the fitted tees, things like that. But this specifically is the focus is for women in terms of decorum, in terms of etiquette and presentation. So I think most of my questions have been answered. Are there any final words of advice that you would like to share regarding, just mindfulness in terms of how we present ourselves, whether it is, the way we carry ourselves and dress,
Yeah.
any final words that you would like to share or advice?
Yeah. I think to sum it all up, a fellow just want to feel when you look at your issue walking about, you want to feel proud. It's kind of like, when you get a new home, and this is a comparison, but like a car or something like that. She is your best possession, and then your children.
Mm,
And when you walk about, you want to feel proud. You don't walk around like, oh, I wonder what my wife is wearing. And, or if she can dress the part, because even in the church setting, you can look the part, but inwardly, you dead bones, whatever. Can she communicate? She, um, you know, she that part of her woman know how to communicate herself and
mm,
speak life into you when you come home from a hard day, working, willing to help you and being that help me. I granted, men, we have our place as well. We ain't walk around here like cave women, men dragging y'all by the hair, but just know how to take care of the home, provide for, take care of the children, um, speak life into you. And when you walk around, you just feel confident that my there's nothing better to have a man seeking after the Yah and have his partner. And a couple coming together with the Most High, and the Ruach is, it's instructing and leading and guiding them. I mean, that's shaking up all the enemy's kingdom, and that's what he don't want. He want to keep us separated. He want to keep us at odds. And it's those little foxes, as far as what I wear, how I carry myself, or what I think, or we got the
mm,
mindset, a Hellenistic mindset, or the westernized mindset. All these things can contribute to breaking around the chips of our foundation in the Most High Yah. And so I think it's critical because y'all are important, very
mm,
important. Make no mistake about it. You will help me, but I mean, we walking step and step in this thing. And so we definitely value you. We definitely appreciate your beauty that you exude outwardly and when you speak, you know,
mm,
those things that you take in as far as your teaching, upholding Torah and just being a loving person. That's reflective. And like you said earlier, like your diet, all these things we do is for the glory to the Most High. So when they see you dressed like that, oh, Cody, why you dressed like that? Or why you don't eat this pork we got over here? I notice every time we do this, you won't do that. And when we say, why won't you listen to this music? Or, I mean, all those things, everything we do is for his
mm,
glory.
mm,
And so that's what I thought about. I said, why we got to go all these things? Is to give glory to the Most High. Everything is, he's very intentional through
mm,
his children because we're supposed to be um, the salt of the earth or speak to the nations. That was our
mm.
position. It still is. That's it. And I definitely appreciate you inviting me. Hopefully everything I said can be a seed or something that they can take from it and move forward and they can apply to their lives or give them something to look for or nothing else. What we look at from my perspective, but men look for when they look at a woman. And to that, Torah, and I yield.
Hallelujah. Well, I definitely appreciate you taking your time out to join us, to join me. I said us, like we're in a talk show, but to join me for this interview at
Yeah,
the
join us because you're
conference.
gonna make it right.
Because
Yeah.
the words you provided, the wisdom you provided is so important, and you provided advice as a husband, also as a father. And there are things like you mentioned very keenly that men see that we might not see,
Hmm.
or that men look at that we might not look at. And so decorum is very important. Um,
Yeah.
one quote that I came across that I share it with, and a lot of women really, it transformed the way they look at modesty within Orchids. Is modesty is not hiding oneself; it's actually revealing your
Hmm.
dignity. All right. So when you look at the traits of a queen is someone who carries herself with dignity, right? And so
Absolutely.
when we say we are modest women, we say we are women who believe in the value of etiquette and decorum. It's us knowing that everything we do is to the glory of Yah. And so we should carry ourselves in a way of dignity, right? Not just the outward appearance, but also when you speak, when you open your mouth, are you someone who builds up or tears down her household? Are you someone who is
Hmm.
of unnecessary jargon? Do you use profane language? Because all of those things, whether it's you, because the conference is going to cover social etiquette, but it's also going to cover relationally, biblically, if you are someone who is in corporate America and you're going for a C-suite role, are you someone that the
Hmm.
company is going to send off to a conference to represent them? If you eating like Kung Fu Panda at the table, the cartoon, where you just eating like this, are
They
you
scarf
someone that,
down food and everything like that. Yeah.
yeah, and
Right.
even the way you interact with others in a company, you're representing the leadership of that company. You're the face essentially when you go out to these conferences.
Hmm.
But in our daily lives, we represent the Most High Yah. We're His daughters. And when someone sees you, they
Right.
should see that light. And they should want to say, okay, well, what is it that you know? Or what is it that drives you to live the lifestyle you live? And so at the end of the day,
Hmm.
we say royalty and we say etiquette. It is revealing the dignity that we have and humility as daughters of the Most High Yah. So we really, I keep
Right.
saying, we really appreciate you for coming out. Orchids appreciate you for coming out and doing this interview. And
Hmm.
would you like to give any, last words before
Yeah.
we
I
go
guess for
live?
my part of scripture, I'm sorry. I
Oh, I'm
said, I
sorry,
guess what
it's
my part of
cutting
scripture
out.
says, trust in you. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
It says, trust in Yah with all thy heart and lead not to our own understanding. In all thy ways, acknowledge him, and he should direct our path. And I think that's applicable in everything we do. So we
Mm,
want to trust the Most High Yah, and that trusting is be willing and open for change. We
mm,
already been diluted and all this stuff from the world, so we got to be purged. We got to be propped and primed and changed, and the willingness. And that's the first. I have no willing mind to change and be fashioned in the way He wants us to be, despite what the world says. So I know it's hard for the women. I mean, I don't want to make it seem like it's just some one, two,
yeah.
three step. I mean, because everything is geared to y'all. You want to look like this and but
Mhm.
his way is right. I mean, despite what that hold on.
Hallelujah. All praises to our Yah. So if you have not registered yet for this conference, what are you waiting for? You can go register today. I'm going to put the link in the description box for this video. If you are an Orchids member, there's a special registration code. If you are general admission, you can register with discount code Modesty22. That is Modesty22. All of that information will be in the description box for this video. We look forward to having an amazing time in the presence of Abba Yah. The date for the conference is December 22nd, 2024. So if you have not registered, feel free to go ahead and register and share this information with other sisters who you know will benefit from etiquette and modesty, whether they are sisters who are in this awakening or anyone that you know could benefit from modesty, decorum, and etiquette that would help them really level up and take things to the next level in their lifestyle,
Right.
socially, corporately, and also relationally. So that is
Hallelujah.
all praises to Abba Yah.
Hallelujah.